When the universe itself begins to play tricks on the League, one of their old friends will need to come out of retirement. All this and more on the pages of Justice League Infinity issue number 2. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? So then, as we saw in the last issue, Amazo, the all-powerful android, had gone on a quest of self-discovery in the vastness of space. What he ended up discovering, though, was a mysterious place called the Mirrored Room, a place where we as the reader can see different universes reflected in all the different panes of glass. An omnipotent voice begins to goad Amazo, and in his anger he starts smashing stuff in the Mirrored Room. Damn it, Amazo, don't you know that's gonna be like a billion years bad luck when you tally it all up? Now, the cosmic effects of what Amazo is doing here end up being felt on Earth, as at the end of the previous issue, our Superman traded places with another evil Superman from an alternate Earth. When Clark comes to, he's at the head of some sort of neo-Nazi rally. Obviously, he's horrified by this, but in a bit of topical writing, Superman doesn't instantly think he's on another Earth. Instead, he thinks he's just maybe in one of the shittier parts of his own Earth, where this sort of thing has become all too common, sadly. Superman, being Superman, gives an impassioned speech to the crowd about letting go of hate, that everyone has suffered in their own way, but that it doesn't give them the right to lash out, and that supremacy is often a trap set by the kinds of evil people who only hope to use and abuse. It's a right pretty speech, but unfortunately the crowd isn't having any of it right now. Jeez, maybe Superman should have opened with a joke. Now, back on the main Earth, things are going equally badly for poor Lois as she finds herself chased around her apartment by the evil Nazi Overman. I actually called him Masterman at the end of the previous issue, and while I was right that it was indeed a Nazi Superman, it wasn't the right Nazi Superman. Yeah, there's more than one. In a fun bit of writing, Lois actually makes the same mistake that many commenters in my last video did, assuming that this guy must be the evil fascist Superman from the episode of Superman the Animated Series entitled Brave New Metropolis. He's not. For one, the costume is way different, but I do think it's a fun little callback and a nice way to show what Lois's own frame of reference is. Now, Lois isn't some helpless damsel in distress. Superman had given her a kryptonite ray gun in case of emergencies, and she has no problem unloading on Overman. The only problem is that Overman seems to be immune to this world's kryptonite. Damn alternate Kryptonians and their alternate weaknesses. Overman surprisingly isn't too shocked about being on a whole different world. In fact, quite the opposite seems to be true. He's absolutely stoked at the chance to conquer new lands for the Fourth Reich. Sadly, though, as we discover, Overman is just a symptom of a much bigger problem. We switch on over to John Jones, the Martian Manhunter in India, where so many of his friends are actively being replaced by people from other Earths. This situation is clearly growing wildly out of control, and John figures now is as good a time as any to end his own self-imposed exile, as the League is going to need all the help they can get if they're going to bring down a rogue Superman. Meanwhile, back on the Nazi Earth, we discover that Overman actually isn't the one running the show here. In fact, he's only a puppet of the real big bad Vandal Savage. Which actually makes a lot of sense if you're a Justice League fan, because you'll remember back in the cartoon they had that episode, The Savage Times, wherein the immortal Vandal Savage did indeed try and take over the Third Reich and use them to conquer the world during World War II, only to be stopped by a time-traveling Justice League. That would of course mean in this universe, Savage was actually successful in that plan. Superman is, however, not the only one fighting this battle, as he ends up getting whisked away from the city to meet with the Resistance fighters. Their group is made up of a female Metallo, a friendly Doomsday, and a new version of General Zod. Well, you don't see many universes with good guy Zods, do ya? Back on the main Earth, Martian Manhunter manages to save the day by putting the mind whammy on Overman, a tactic that John has never really been a huge fan of and judges himself harshly for. It's while in Overman's brain he sees the guy's sad origin story. Instead of his rocket crashing in Kansas and being raised by the Kent family, here the last son of Krypton's pod fell to Vandal Savage, where he was raised to be a weapon. He still ended up falling in love with that world's Lois Lane, but Vandal made him kill her and buried the memories deep within his mind until right now. The battle is ultimately won, but it's not a happy victory. The League is sadly nowhere closer to finding their Superman, and it's clear whatever Amazo started, the worst is very much yet to come. And so that was Justice League Infinity number 2, everybody, and if you couldn't tell, I loved this one from start to finish. I love that we're getting so many Easter eggs and callbacks to stuff from throughout the DC animated universe, and not just the Justice League cartoon. I know we've seen lots of stories before about evil Superman and alternate Earths and all that jazz, but you gotta give credit where credit is due to J.M. DeMatteis. He manages to make it all feel fresh and interesting again by couching it in the lore of the cartoon show. Hell, this issue even goes a step further by confirming that yes, these are the characters we love and a continuation of the story we love in the timeline that is now. And don't be shocked if the heroes and the writers decide to go out of their way to drop some references to some more topical issues, something that the cartoon definitely did, but not to this level. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one an 8.5 out of 10. It was really good stuff. In fact, only 2 issues in, I dare say this may be my favorite Justice League book on the shelf right now. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.